Have you ever felt weighed down? It seems like everyone else around you is living life to the fullest. They have these dreams, they're chasing and succeeding at everything they do. Meanwhile, you feel stuck, weighed down. It's like you're wrestling with God, God, what's my dreams? What do you have for me? What's my plans for life? When will I be successful? And can I be honest with you? I've been there too. You see, this past year has been a really heavy year for me. Now, last summer, life was great, okay? Me and God were like this. I was in the best shape of my life, and I had some visions and God-sized dreams that just were happening and working and rolling, and everything was going great. And then my mom got sick, and I had to start taking care of her. And a few months later, she passed away, and I just felt heavy. And those dreams and those visions I saw were gone. The ones that I so clearly saw from God, I couldn't see anymore. And even if I couldn't move towards them. I was heavy. But you see, this isn't unique to just me. We see this time and time again with God's people. And today, we're going to look at a guy named David who literally felt that weight of someone else's armor. Now, you all know the story. Most of us know the story of David versus Goliath, but today we're going to look at a part leading up to that story that often gets overlooked. So if you don't know, here's a little backstory, right? Here's what you need to know. The Israelites and Philistines are at war. David is a small shepherd boy, think Ben Kacharis size, who is back home with his dad doing some work there, while his brothers are off at war. And while his brothers are off at war, the Philistines sent out a giant, a big guy, a Goliath is what his name is, but think Hulk Hogan size. Okay, so he comes out and challenges the Israelites, hey, send one person to come fight me. Send one person you think can come fight me. And so meanwhile, while that's happening, David gets sent by his dad to the front lines just to do a status check on his brothers, make sure everything's okay, and drop off some supplies. While there, he overhears this predicament that they're in. David's confident and says, oh, I'll go fight them. Now, remember, that's like Ben Kacharis saying he's going to go into a WWE match with Hulk Hogan, right? That's funny. Every Israelite there laughed and mocked him. So David goes to Saul and says, Saul, let me fight Goliath. And Saul knows that he's just a small shepherd boy and says, Saul, you can't fight him, dude. You're just a youth. You'll get demolished. Now, I like to think that David had a little swagger to himself, a little confidence here, laughing under his breath, like, seriously, Saul, do you know who I am? Do you know what I've done? Yes, I'm just a shepherd boy, but when a shepherd gets taken off by a lion or a bear, who goes after him? I do. I kill that lion. I kill that bear. I've seen God with me then, and I know that I will see God with me versus Goliath, and Goliath would be just like one of those lions that I've killed. And so Saul finally gets the point. He's like, all right, you can fight him. In fact, I'll even give you my armor. So they put all the armor on David, and he stands there with the armor on, and he realizes, I can't move. I can't operate with your armor on, Saul. It's too heavy. I'm not used to this. So he takes the armor off, and then he picks up a sling and a stone, and then he goes off into battle and defeats Goliath. You see, David was confident in his abilities. He was confident in who he was, and he didn't play a comparison game. It didn't matter to him what everyone else around him looked like or what they were doing. He knew who God was and that God had already won that battle for him. And when I'm not confident in who I am in Jesus, I think I get so caught up in what everybody else is doing. And I think the same might be for a lot of us. I start worrying about the looks. Man, if I just lost some weight, maybe I could get a girlfriend and then a wife and then a family, and then I'd be fulfilled, or wealth. Yeah, it's easy to serve God when you have money. It's easy to serve God when you have wealth and you're comfortable. But what about when you don't have money? I can't do that. Or time. Man, I just don't have time. If I had the time, sure, I could be powerful. I could make an impact. If I had a better job, maybe I had a higher rank in my position. I could have more power, and then I could do something worthwhile. Or my age, man, maybe I'm just too young, and I can't do anything. I'm too young. Or sin. We start comparing our sins. And the next thing you know, we're wearing everybody else's armor, and we're not focused on who God created us to be. And the thing we can learn from David is he took that armor off. And he operated in the giftedness that God had given him. My shirt says Yahweh, which just means Lord. And so my question for you today is, what armor are you wearing? I think we can only see the dream that God has for us when we realize that we need to operate in the strengths and the uniqueness that he's given us.